Welcome to my world.
From stage to screen, comedy to politics,
Decriminalize it.
he's cannabis's most famous and fearless celebrity. Now, Tommy Chong is ready to cut through the smoke and change the tone of Tilk Radio.
Please welcome the stoner legend himself, Tommy Chong.
Welcome to the Tommy Chong Podcast.
Hey man, this is Tommy Chong, and you're listening to the Tommy Chong Podcast, live with super co-director and master of all trades, and what's that word? Thing of all trades, master of none. You know that one?
Yeah.
Head surfer in the Chong household, Paris Chong. Let's have a nice round of applause for Paris Chong. Yay!
Dude, you gotta just get into it, man. This big intros is just, it's pretty bad.
I love big intros, man. That's my life. My life. In fact, the Cheech and Chong show was really one big intro after another. He would introduce one character, and it would take him a long time. One bit we did, the Blind Melon Chitlin bit, the introduction at one time took 15 minutes.
No.
We had a silent partner in the club, Georgie Beer. Georgie says, man, that bit, when you started it, he says, I went out for coffee. And I come back, and you were still doing the bit.
That's not good. I
Oh,
don't
it
think
was
that's good.
great.
I don't think that's good.
No,
man.
it was great. It was great. And what it
That's
was,
like Shelby's, what was Shelby's advice to you the other day?
oh, cut it. No, Shelby saw a bit that Cheech and I did back in the early days of Cheech and Chong. It was a funny bit.
Don't tell what it is. I don't want to spoiler alert for Robbie's movie.
Oh, Robbie, yeah, the Cheech and Chong documentary.
Yeah.
It was a funny bit. Anyway, Shelby saw it. David played it for her. David, the producer and director of the movie, he played it for Shelby, and Shelby came back with a critique. It's too long. The only time chicks don't say anything is too long is when you're making love.
But
Too
that's
long.
not true. That's not true.
Did they say sometimes?
Yeah.
So, hey, what's going on in the world? Oh, it's gone crazy.
Well, I don't want to talk about the same old, because I realized that because you know what happened in Brussels and then the election. We did a whole election thing last week, so I don't want to bore anybody. We're not allowed to talk about Trump or Sanders or anybody this week.
Who?
And we're not going to go on about Brussels. It's a terrible thing. I don't want to do this show about terrorism. So, and I'm the producer, and you said what did you say, co-director?
Yeah, with the co-producer, co-everything.
And I can beat you in arm wrestling now, so I get to choose what
Oh,
we're gonna do.
you think you can beat me in arm wrestling?
I'm pretty sure. I don't want to try it out because I don't want to hurt you or me.
You don't want to hurt your feelings.
That's why, when you're golfing, like a lot of times you're like behind a tree and you want to just smash that thing. And I'm just thinking, no, like the risk of that ball bouncing off that tree and coming back and smacking you in the face somewhere is just not worth it, man. And it happens.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
No,
you're absolutely right, especially when there's, nothing at stake other than, hitting a little ball into a hole. Who cares?
Nobody cares.
Today I played at the Vets by myself. In fact, there was a couple of guys on the tee in front of me, and they said to me, hey, you want to play through? And I said, sure. I tell them I play best ball, what means that if I hit the first ball bad, I hit another ball. And if I hit that ball bad, I hit another ball. This is Tommy Chong rules.
Yeah.
And then I play the best ball.
Right.
And they said, okay, so I played pretty good, considering my age and my physical abilities.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you. We're not allowed to talk about golf on this show either because that's boring to 99% of the people that are listening. I was reading this funny headline here on Reddit that you can relate to because you are a director. You're in the Directors Guild.
Yes.
So you know all these director tricks, right?
Okay.
And then so this headline said that Sharon Stone slapped the director after seeing the Basic Instinct leg cross scene for the first time. She'd removed her panties when the director told her the flash of white was ruining the shot and that nothing would show on screen.
She believed it. So she showed that little pleasure hole. That was that long-haired director.
Who, really?
Oh yeah,
because that was one of the scenes that made the movie.
It was.
That empowered her. Remember, she's being interrogated by like the whole homicide division. Like there was like 8 guys in the room, interrogating her for this murder. Yeah. She did the cross leg thing. Yeah. The beaver flash.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the most memorable moments of the movie.
Paris. It's the most memorable part of the movie. I don't even remember what the movie was about, but I remember that scene.
You know what I think too is that by getting her to do that the way he did, worked with her character, because there was no sense of shame or of like, oh, I'm doing something special. She just did it. She did what she had to do. That's her character. And man, that was a great scene. So that's one of those things that should go down in the annals of amazing director moves,
Oh, absolutely. The one thing about directing a movie, there's so much money involved. You got a crew there. It's costing something $100,000 a day. In some movies, $100,000 an hour.
They entrusted you with the vision. You have the vision.
The reason you're chosen to direct a movie is that you're not going to piss anybody's money away. And so when you get confronted with an actress that doesn't want to do something or anything, what you do, you immediately go into this whatever it takes to get it done. Yeah. Whatever you have to say, whatever you have to promise, whatever.
So, and some people lead by like a dictatorship where they're just like a tyrant, right? Some people do that.
If they can.
And then some people are much smoother.
Depends on the emotion that you want to get from your actor. If you want them to act pissed off, then you piss them off. Yeah. And that's not hard to do.
No.
You ignore them, or you work them a little harder than they're used to. Yeah. And
you have like the camera and lighting people just sit there
and sometimes
and like adjust everything for like 10 minutes.
Oh yeah. One more for the sound.
Almost ready. Ready. Just stay still.
Yeah. You do all that stuff. When Rae Dawn, my gorgeous daughter, shot Quest for Fire, the director had her standing out in the middle of a field, butt naked.
Was that in Alberta too? Where was that? Or Montana?
It was somewhere cold.
Yeah.
Cold, miserable. It was like either 0 or close to below 0. She's standing there naked while he's wondering whether the lighting is right.
Yeah.
But she did it. She pulled it off. But
you know how we were talking to that producer that we worked with that works on The Revenant?
Yeah. And
that the reason that movie took so long to shoot was they used natural light. So did Quest for Fire do the same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They did.
Wow.
Exactly the same thing. You're out in the wilderness, and the shot's 100 yards away, and you can't put a screen over that, and you can't shoot that backstage, or on a set. Directors are like Steve-O,
They'll take a ball shot to get
whatever.
Whatever it takes.
They'll staple their balls to a wall if it means getting the shot. They'll do anything.
Does this bring you any director moves to mind? You tortured Cheech in Nice Dreams, right? When he was on the elevator?
Nice Dreams when he was on the elevator. He's butt naked on the elevator, and I was adjusting the shot.
When did he actually read that script part?
Well, we never had it in the script.
But you have to prepare for that. I mean, you have to get the stunt people. And
No, what we did is, we had the biker come in and finding us with his girlfriend.
Yeah.
First of all, the only thing we wrote was that we would hide under the bed. And then the biker would come in and throw Dawn on the bed.
And start making love with her.
Start making love with her and bouncing on top of us. And so while he's bouncing on top of us, we sneak out. But in the script, we just sneak out the door and leave. Yeah. But when we got to the set, I looked at the set. We're 5 floors above anything. And the window led right to the top of the elevator. And so Cheech could go out the window on a ledge and then jump onto the top of the elevator.
Oh, so you went out the front door and Cheech went out the window?
I went out the front door and Cheech went out the window.
Oh, wow.
And so now he's on top of the elevator and the elevator starts going down. And first of all, he's going to crawl off the elevator and he's butt naked. And the people in the elevator see his naked butt and they start playing with him. Then he crawls back up. And then we had a stunt guy, dive into the pool.
Yeah.
But Cheech had to stay on top of that elevator butt naked for about an hour or so.
Oh, really? Was it cold? I mean, that area, that's the Viceroy. That's Pico and Ocean, man. It gets chilly at night.
Not when you're 5 stories up on an elevator. Look at, where you could die.
The adrenaline kicks in?
The adrenaline kicks in. But that was just one. I'll tell you, one time we were shooting next movie. And Neat Nick, our neighbor.
Yeah.
Okay, Neat Nick, he was a child star at one time, and he had worked with all these great child actors.
Oh, yeah, we talked about this on the podcast before, about how Cheech told him to fuck off.
No, he was just venting. He was doing his, I want to be treated like a star. And
right.
King was trying to tell him where to walk, and Neat Nick was trained to only listen to the director. You don't listen to anybody else.
Oh, right.
But I was in the movie, and so King really was directing.
Yeah.
As well as.
I mean, there is a caveat, right? If the director is in the scene, then the director will pick who he wants to give the orders.
Yeah, to call the shots.
Yeah.
And it was King.
Yeah.
And so King was just telling him, okay, I want you to come here and come there. And Neat Nick goes, I don't believe I met the new director in his little snotty way. Cheech had no business, but he told Neat Nick to fuck off.
Yeah.
And Neat Nick says, I'll be in my trailer. And he stormed off the set. And he told the assistant director that he's not coming out until I fill up his trailer with flowers and champagne. So they said to me, what are we going to do? And I says, get the flowers, get the champagne. You get a bottle of wine and a bouquet of flowers. That's all you need. And so they did. And then he come back on the set and did it well. You don't want to get into kind of arguments, because all it does is just everybody gets settled into their position. That's a biblical thing, agree quickly with your adversary.
Yeah.
That's the best advice ever. In other words, don't argue. Just agree. Say, yeah, you're probably right.
No, I get it. Yeah, you just got to get the shot done.
Yeah, you're probably right. It doesn't matter, and you do it, and we move on. It was a good lesson, But that, what it showed me? It showed me that I really was a good director, a good movie director.
Yeah.
Because the project is all you worry about.
Right.
You don't worry about people's feelings. You don't worry about anything. All you're worried about is this going to work in the project?
Right.
And if it pisses them off and it works, then you piss them off.
That's your job.
That's your job.
Cat Williams is in the news again. Last week he was at a Benny Siegel concert, and he was acting very strange. And then he crouched down like he's gonna tackle somebody, and then he runs across the stage and he punches this guy in the face, and then the guy jumps on top of Cat, and then him and his friends just start stomping on Cat, which. I mean, that's what happens when you go and you sucker punch a dude with some friends. You're going to get beat on. That's
absolutely.
That's the law of the land. So now, so I'm going to play you a video of what happened recently.
Okay.
Look. Oh, you see that?
Oh, you sucker punched him.
He sucker punched him, and then now look at the kid. Look at the kid. Got his back. Oh, got his back. Got the hooks in. Oh, manhandle him.
Oh, look at him.
17-year-old kid.
And that was a sissy punch. Cat
very
threw.
Sissy. If you're gonna throw a sucker punch, man, the last thing you want to do is half-ass it.
Do a little pat like that.
Yeah,
that's the worst.
You just piss people off.
That was ridiculous. What was wrong with him?
I don't know, man.
And picking on a kid like that?
Where was this at?
That's jail time.
He's having a lot of legal problems.
He lost his mojo.
Well, he still sells out. He still does well.
Yeah, but the trouble is, once you become that character, it's like Richard Pryor,
Right.
Richard Pryor was joking about his crack addiction.
Yeah.
But he never stopped doing it.
You mean after that one where he talked about freebasing and how
that's why he ended up with MS, and that's why he
when Jim Brown came and said, hey, you got to stop this, and the dealer said, hey man, we're not selling you anymore, and all that, he kept smoking freebase.
Hey, Robin Williams was dry right up until he died, and then one day
Dad, come on, I'm asking you clearly a question. Okay. Was he freebasing after that comedy special?
He was back doing drugs.
He was freebasing. Not as bad, or so he burned himself on fire, lit himself on fire.
Yes,
and he continued to do drugs after that.
After that, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm positive.
Man,
he ended up with MS. He ended up with a brain damage.
Yeah, but man, listen, my aunt ended up with MS, and she didn't abuse drugs. You know that people end up with MS. Like, so you can't connect those two, you know.
No, you sure can. You abuse cocaine, you're going to get all sorts of shit wrong with you.
True, but even if you don't abuse cocaine, you could get
absolutely,
MS,
absolutely. But you look at the people's habits, you know. It just speaks for themselves, you know. Uh-huh. But more than anything, you know what it is. Here's what you got to be totally honest. Uh-huh. See, when you're totally honest, that means you admit when you're wrong, and you admit when you're right.
Well, what I'm seeing here is
but let me finish. What happens when you're doing drugs and you start lying to yourself? Uh-huh. And now I know the feeling because I've gone through the same kind of trip. You know, I go through it, you know, daily. Right. You know, because I got, since I've been you know, operated on it, you know, and all that shit went on with me, I developed a sweet tooth. Uh-huh. That like I eat whatever is sweet, you know, croissants or cake or anything. That's the only thing that makes me feel good. But I know that it's not good for me.
Right.
So I'm conflicted. Right. You know, if it's around, I'll eat it, and if it's not, I won't.
Right.
You know, so I try not to be around it, but I can't be hypocritical with myself and tell anybody that I don't do it. I do.
Yeah.
To the detriment of my own health.
Right.
And that's the way with junkies on a bigger scale. You know, they lie to themselves. Like alcoholics, they lie to themselves.
Right.
You know, they pretend, well, I just drink socially, blah, blah,
right.
blah, blah. You know, and next thing you know, they're dead because of alcohol abuse.
You can really connect the dots, like, you know, psoriasis, the scarring of the liver, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Or like stomach cancer, pancreatic cancer. But MS, yeah, it's a tricky one. I don't quite.
Well, the good news is that the marijuana helps MS.
Absolutely.
And
so let's talk about Cat Williams. So Cat Williams, what I saw there, the generation, I think it's my generation, and maybe, okay, so anyone born before 1980, I want to make an announcement, make like a public service announcement.
Okay.
Don't go fucking with kids, okay? Because they grew up in an era of MMA and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and they know shit. You know, they may have just taken a class or watched a movie or whatever, but dude, they know shit now that you guys didn't know back then.
It's like faking a punch at a boxer. The last thing you want to do is fake a punch at a boxer because they don't even think. They just hit you back automatically.
Oh, yeah.
It's an automatic thing. They don't even think about it. They just automatically do it. Same thing as playing hockey. Like I was doing that celebrity hockey game. They're shooting a documentary on it, and they wanted one of the hockey players to fake a fight.
Yeah. Max Headroom.
Yeah, Max Headroom. You can't ask a hockey player to fake anything.
Yeah.
They don't know how to fake it.
Yeah.
These are big thugs that grow up and they act instinctively. Yeah. It's like asking a chimp to fake a grab, you know, but just fake anything. This is their instinct. This is what they're trained to do. And so the way he did, he pulled the sweater over Max's head, give him a shot in the face, and probably he cracked his tooth, messed up his lip.
And you know, to the hockey player's defense, he probably gave him a little tiny little shot that any other hockey player had been like, oh, you're funny, man. Yeah. You know, but when you hit an actor like that, they're going to go to the hospital.
So you don't want to mess with people's instincts. Kids nowadays, little baby girls, guys, everybody.
Oh man,
they're taking karate. They're taking MMA.
They're taking jiu-jitsu. They're taking jiu-jitsu. They're not even taking jiu-jitsu. They're taking MMA.
Yeah.
So that means they're combining boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, wrestling, and jiu-jitsu and judo all in one. That's a lot of technique that people know. And the guy just grabbed hold of him, took him down, and held him from behind. There's another one that I want to pull up, too. Okay. Like when you're filming something and like the shit's going down and it's a big fight or something like that, the move is that you point the camera at you and you go, world star, and then you keep filming. But so this one, I'm going to pull it up. This one happened, I think.
Hey, do we need to take a break?
Oh, yeah. Let's take a break.
Let's take a break
okay.
And we'll pull it up.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up and we'll come right back.
You're listening to the Tommy Chong Podcast, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The next generation of vaporizers has arrived. Vuber vaporizers are blazing the way with unparalleled technology for oil, concentrate, or dry flower pens. Providing unsurpassed customer service and expert craftsmanship, Vuber vaporizers use cutting-edge technology, providing a power-packed, smoother vapor with a lifetime guarantee. Experience vaporizing the way it was meant to be. The Vuber way.
Ganjapreneur.com, your guide to the cannabis business world. Ganjapreneur.com is a comprehensive resource for cannabis professionals and entrepreneurs. Download the Ganjapreneur app on your smartphone or tablet to catch up on cannabis industry news, scroll through our daily job listings, and learn about successful cannabis companies, executives, and investors. Ganjapreneur.com, helping Ganjapreneurs grow.
From high atop Mount Soledad in San Diego, California, 100 feet above sea level. Good morning. It's good news with cannabis nurse Heather.
This plant is amazing. Positive change is happening. We did it. No matter who you are, you can make a positive impact on the world.
I would rather be illegally alive than legally dead.
And that quote helped to give you strength.
Nurse Heather is only on CannabisRadio.com.
Good morning, cannabis nurse Heather.
Cannabis Confidential with Dr. Dina. Candid.
I want to give you the inside story.
Captivating.
I want to introduce you to my kind and amazingly talented friends.
Compelling.
We get to meet some of the most amazing cannabis activists and warriors around.
Listen in as medical marijuana pioneer Dr. Dina shares never-before-heard stories, chats with cannabis insiders and celebrity friends, and provides invaluable perspective and insight into one of the fastest-growing industries in the world.
I want to share with you what was once confidential information. Let's expose the truth, discuss the issues, and learn the facts.
Cannabis Confidential, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The Tommy Chong Podcast is back, only on CannabisRadio.com.
And I'm signaling my dad that we're back, but he's sitting on the phone.
I was just reading my emails. Sorry about that.
Okay. All right. So this is on LA Expo train, right? This guy's harassing people. I'm playing. So you see it, Dad?
Yeah.
So he's obviously on drugs and he's drunk or something.
He took his shirt off.
He's got his shirt off and he's paranoid. He's thinking people want to fight him, and they don't want to fight him. They just want to be left alone. So he goes to the next train, Dad, and then he's harassing more people, and then he comes back.
Don't call me weirdo, dog. Don't call me weirdo, dog. What?
Yeah, he looks like he's methed out. He looks like he's tweaking.
Weirdo. I'm not no weirdo. I ain't no weirdo. I ain't no weirdo. I ain't no weirdo.
Oh, you don't want to fight with a guy call you homie.
Oh, look at this. See that?
Oh, behind. Is he choking him out?
Yeah. So a big trainer comes up behind him, chokes him out.
World star.
See, world star, Dad. World star. And look, the trainer chokes him out, flips him on his back, and then stands on him with his foot.
Wow.
So the guy that he trained a lot of the guys in the Palisades and in Santa Monica.
Yeah.
His name's Henry Atkins, I think.
Yeah.
He was trained by Hicks and Gracie. He was like Hicks and Gracie's first black belt or fastest black belt, something like that. Anyways, I heard a story about him where he was out front of a nightclub, and there was these guys, and they were trying to fight the bouncers, trying to fight everybody, and they're outside just causing shit. And Henry just snuck up behind him and put him in a rear naked choke. But you see how that took a few seconds, or like 10, 15 seconds. Well, when a black belt does it, my friend Wilson, who's a brown belt, says, man, he got him in that choke, and the guy was out in seconds. It was like he completely cut off every artery to the brain, because there's difference, right? There's the air, and then there's arteries, and the arteries go faster. Yeah. You cut off the blood to the brain, and you're breathing. You can breathe through those chokes, but you just pass out, man. There's no blood, and so he did that all the time, and that's what people are doing nowadays. And I think it's humane. Yeah, it's dangerous. Yeah, because
you could kill him.
Okay, I'll tell you another story. So my friend Keenan, he was like one of the little Palisades guys, right? Yeah, and his nickname back then was Blue. So Keenan had a pit bull with this girl that he was seeing, right? And he loved the pit bull. And the relationship didn't work out, right? And so he left, but he wanted the pit bull because it was his pit bull, right? And so he goes to pick up the pit bull with his new girlfriend. And his girlfriend at the time had this guy there who, was trying to, block Keenan from taking the pit bull, right? So Keenan's trained fighter, so he flipped him around and choked him out. But when he let go of him, guy bashed his head and cracked his head open. He kind of dropped him, and he fell down and then held back. So ground.
You put him down.
Yeah, because many guys have gotten like you punch a guy in the face, and you're like, oh, you just wanted to punch him in the face. Next thing you know, he smashes his head. He's dead. Yeah. Now you're up for murder. Yeah. You know what I mean? And that has happened. Oh yeah. Many times. So Keenan, got charged with like some heavy assaults, and they were like, and so his lawyer goes, listen, man. My advice to you is to just go to Mexico and don't come back for 6 years. And you know what, man? He's been living in Mexico ever since.
You're kidding. He took his advice.
And it's been a lot longer than 6 years. But, when you live someplace that long, you end up, creating a life.
Making roots. Yeah. Where you go. Yeah. And you're there. Yeah. What part of Mexico?
Todos Santos. So it's the Pacific side of Cabo.
Is there any warrants you're out for his arrest?
I don't think anymore. No, not anymore. After like 7 years, it's kind of like, it's hard to get witnesses. It's hard to find the victims. It's hard to get all that stuff.
But sometimes it's still on the books, and if you get stopped by
I think he's kind of made sure, he's reached out and made sure that it's not on the books. And I think in a roundabout way, the prosecutor may have even said, hey, listen, why don't you fuck off. You know what I mean? The prosecutor told the defense, like, listen, dude, this kid's, if he sticks around, I'm going to fucking have to put him in county for a year. You know what I mean? Yeah. Might as well tell him to bounce. Yeah. So.
I wonder. That's a good advice. So.
In all your times of fighting in the clubs and all that, did you see anybody get choked out? Unconscious?
Knocked out, but not choked out.
You see, that's like a new kind of thing. It's from the MMA.
Used to see that in the wrestling ring. And I always thought it was phony, right? Because they would drop all of a sudden, and they pick up their hand. The referee would pick up his hand and would be limp, and then he would wave his hands, and then the seconds would come and pull him off.
But you see, a lot of people think, oh yeah, you try that with me, and I'll gouge your eyes out, I'll grab your balls, and I'm telling you, when someone sinks a choking on you like that, you're pretty helpless, man. Yeah. You can try for a half a second to gouge someone's eyes out, but by the time you even get their head, you're seeing stars.
Well, the last thing you want to do is do something that the guy is going to turn around and use on you. That's the thing about using a weapon. You come at a guy with a weapon, and if he takes it off you, now you're standing there looking like a cartoon figure.
Yeah, so how you can't watch like horror films, and like a lot of the videos that I show you online, you can't even watch, right? No. Because you feel. So I was watching this movie last night called The Killing Season, and it's with John Travolta and Robert De Niro. And okay, spoiler alert. So I'm watching this movie. Robert De Niro is a soldier, a retired soldier who was working with the UN peacekeeping forces in Serbia, right? And
so I think I've seen the trailer. Yeah.
And John Travolta, he got a big beard, and John Travolta was one of the Scorpion killing squads of that was killing all the Muslims in Serbia, Bosnia, whatever. Mm-hmm. John Travolta wants to get his revenge. It turns into this thing where they kind of meets him, and then he under false pretenses, and then they have this like they go on a hunting trip together, and then they're each hunting each other with bow and arrows, right? So dude, the one part, man, I swear I could not watch it without squirming, or like I had to close my ears or whatever, because De Niro gets shot through the calf, right? Okay, so he gets shot right behind the bone, Dad, right here, inside the calf, all the way through. And so it's so gnarly. They're in like an old barn, and John Travolta throws him a spike attached to a rope, a small like rope, like not too thick, and it's tied to the spike. The spike's about 8 inches long. He says, put that through your calf. The hole from the arrow, okay? De Niro, he's getting threatened with his life, so De Niro puts it through the hole of his calf, and then he says, now tie it around your calf. And then so it's going through between the bone and the calf muscle, and he says, tie it around the calf. And I thought he was going to just kind of tie him up and then say, okay, now I got you, and if you move, it'll hurt real bad. He strings him up over a rafter and hangs him from that thing. Oh my God, Dad, I couldn't deal with it, man. Like, he was just hanging there, and then they would show shots of the oozing down, and then John Travolta's character was going, oh yeah, the calf muscle is very, very strong. It will hold for days, maybe weeks even, Dad, it was like so gnarly to watch. I couldn't deal with it, man. De Niro shoots an arrow through his mouth, through John Travolta's mouth, right? And then he ties him up when he's passed out because of the pain. And then his thing was, John Travolta's laying on a table, all tied up, and he's got that hole through each of his cheeks, maybe some teeth knocked out. And De Niro's making lemonade, and he's going, yeah, my mom used to have lemonade ready for us after we come home from a hunt,
And he's making him drink it?
So he's making this lemonade. So, what we need? We need some sugar. So he goes to the cupboard. He looks for sugar. Oh, we're all out of sugar. I need a substitute. So then he grabs the big thing of salt, right? And he pours all the salt, like a pound of salt into the lemonade. So it's just pure lemonade. And then he put the pulp in as well. So it's pure lemon and pulp juice. And sugar. And a pound of salt, okay?
Salt.
And then he just pours it in his mouth and like basically waterboards him with that. But I could watch that, but the calf muscle thing, Dad, it was impossible.
Well, I'm glad you shared that with us. I
had to.
If we got any listeners left, I want you to say that we're never going to go down this road again.
Why?
That's horrible. Ever since I've been operated on, I've been super, super sensitive.
You're less, though. You were very sensitive. When you were healing and you were really vulnerable, you were super sensitive to everything.
Okay, so what's going on in the Chong's Choice world? Because you know what I did? Like, I'm getting so much product, to test, that everybody wants to be on the Chong Choice team. And so I recruited some people, friends of mine, at the Le Pan restaurant to test the product for me.
There's only one tester, Dad.
Me?
Yeah.
No, but I need help.
No, we can't give that job away. It's Chong's Choice for a reason, man. You choose it.
I know.
You can't have other people choosing Chong's Choice.
No, I need helpers. No, I need helpers. And what I want to do is put out a word for people that if you're interested in testing Chong Choice product on a scientific basis, to contact us through CannabisRadio.com and just give us your qualifications as a tester. What would make you a good tester?
Okay, you're going to go through all these
absolutely. I'll go through them all.
Don't be putting it on my work desk.
Oh, heavens to Betsy. I mean, it's hard for you to work on a surfboard, when you're out in the middle of the ocean. I guess
you know what? You talk a lot of shit, man. I'm going on a surf trip, and you're going to be all alone in a little bit.
That's what I mean. You're going on a surf trip. Oh, surprise, surprise, y'all.
I have to work so hard that I need to go on a surf trip.
Where are you going?
I'm going to Asu in
you're
May.
going to Asu in May. Am I going?
No, you're not going.
I'm not going?
You're not allowed to yet.
In May?
May, you're not allowed to. You can go.
That's my birthday.
I know. We're going to go later on in, I think, October. You and I will go because it's a nice end of the season.
Well, you know what I want to do,
because they're still doing, it'll still be construction going on out there and stuff. But you can't smoke weed there.
What do you mean you can't smoke weed?
You can't smoke weed in Indonesia. They will put you in jail and take your money.
Oh, then I'm not going to.
That's what I mean, man.
I'm not going to.
I don't think it's.
I'm not going to go to that chicken shit country that won't let you smoke weed. Every boonie in the world smokes weed over there.
Oh well, the problem is that the Aceh province, right, the North Sumatra, we're like the fundamentalist,
the Muslims.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of separatist. They have a separatist movement, and you know how they fund their movement
with weed.
so weed has that terrorist connection there, which is not good for weed.
Well, that's what George Bush tried to lay on us when he busted us. Said that our bongs were funding terrorist organizations.
That's why people I've heard this on Twitter where they say there's too much stuff in the world for the next president to be concerned with weed. And so I just said, yeah, well, that's exactly what we thought about after 9/11 when George Bush had so much on his plate, but he did find time to have, the whole bong industry taken down and Donald Chong put in jail. So, so that
they found time for that.
Don't ever fall for that bullshit.
Yeah.
We're going to take a quick break a little minute early because last time we were a little late, and then we'll be right back.
You're listening to the Tommy Chong Podcast, only on CannabisRadio.com.
CannabisRadio.com keeps you in the know Monday through Friday on air and on demand with Cannabis Radio News, presented with the definitive worldwide news source, the Associated Press. Stay informed with exclusive news on all things cannabis. Cannabis Radio News, live weeknights at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific, during the Russ Belville Show, or download the daily podcast exclusively on CannabisRadio.com, as well as iTunes, Stitcher, and iHeartRadio. When breaking news happens in the cannabis industry, Cannabis Radio News delivers the details first.
Educator, author, and advocate Dr. Mitch Earlywine is here to tackle the burning issues.
And I'm here to clear up the myths about cannabis and burn them away with science.
CannabisRadio.com presents a no-holds-barred platform that seeks to redefine and revolutionize the entire scope of the cannabis culture while opening the door for more to join the cannabis crusade.
Dr. Kevin Hill.
You can't ignore the fact that, like alcohol, most people who use don't have a problem. So I think that you need to think about policy in that way while educating people properly about marijuana. I think that's the way to go.
Burning issues, only on CannabisRadio.com.
The Tommy Chong Podcast is back, only on CannabisRadio.com.
We're back already, yeah.
Yeah, here we are. Hey, so, okay.
That was a short break. Okay, so what?
This is an interesting article.
Okay.
And this is something that you already knew, right? But a lot of people still to this day think that, marijuana and drugs were made illegal, and criminalized and with all these penalties because it would be good for society. It would be good. It would be a good way to eradicate that problem.
Yeah, and put a lot of black people in jail.
So what did we find out? We found out that Richard Nixon's top advisor admitted that the war on drugs was a policy tool to go after anti-war protesters, which is code name for hippies and black people.
Yeah. Well, because he had that commission on pot. And, it was made up of some very, good scientists and good people. And at the end of the commission, they recommended that pot be made legal. Definitely don't make it illegal. It's going to cause a lot of problems. And Nixon just failed to, he just totally ignored that, as Nixon would. I just watched the show on...
Well, yeah, because they're not interested in science.
No.
They're interested in
controlling the people,
furthering their means.
Yeah.
And what was bothering them at the time? The Black Panthers and the anti-war hippie movement.
That's right.
Those were the main
agitators
for the Nixon time.
They literally helped stop the Vietnam War. With Johnson for sure.
Literally, right?
And they just protested so much, and then everybody in Vietnam got turned on to weed, and they were smoking it over there with the enemy, by the way.
So at the beginning, America thought, okay, we got to fight communism.
Yeah.
We gotta do what we gotta do. We gotta get out there.
In the 50s, we'd taken down Japan, and now it was time to take down Vietnam. So we had no wars to fight. So let's go to Vietnam
because we were fighting communism. Because we don't want the Russians and the Chinese to take over Vietnam. Is that was the
domino effect?
The domino effect. Right?
Yeah. Once Vietnam falls, and everybody.
Then they're going to take Japan. They're going to take Taiwan. They're going to take Hong Kong.
The world. They're going to take the world. They're going to take us all.
So at the beginning, it was like, oh yeah, this is what we got to do. We got to do, right? So then, how many years into it did the public perception change?
Well, what was happening? The war escalated so fast after Kennedy was assassinated. The war just escalated like crazy, as if the military complex was responsible for the assassination. And the oil companies. See, you can't
and
sell
rubber companies too, right?
Rubber, oil, anything to do with war, the war machinery, because war machinery is a perfect way to get billions of dollars out of the coffers and into people's hands.
Right.
Because there's no accountability. When you blow up a bomb that it costs $1 million or it costs whatever it costs, it's blown up, and you need another one. And you blow that up.
Destruction is good business.
Yeah,
because you got to replace shit that gets destroyed.
That's right. That's right. And it's like being in the cigarette business. Destroying people's lives and making a big profit. That's what war was. And what happened? But they needed fodder. They needed cannon fodder. And so what they did, Johnson and the white establishment in America decided that, wow, this is a good way to get rid of the brown people and the black people.
Yeah.
And so they instituted the draft.
Yeah.
Now, if you were white and had any kind of connection, you never went to war. You got deferred.
But
if you were Chicano, if you were black, you got drafted. And not only drafted, but you were sent over to the front line, and within days you were dead.
Yeah.
Because you were just cannon fodder. Yeah. And they had no really plan of defeating anybody. All they wanted to do was go over there and drop bombs and try out all the weapons and learn about
pretty
jungle
heavy
warfare.
Shit too, like napalm.
Oh, they tried everything. Agent Orange, just to defoliate the jungle. And
just to kill plants.
To kill plants, to defoliate, so the enemy had nowhere to hide. And
no food to eat.
Yeah, and that created so much cancer because it blew back, and so many of our own people got cancer from that Agent Orange.
Crazy.
And that's just part of it. And then all the money that was stolen, from the civilian end of it, the Halliburton end of it, and so that's why and then the war machinery, they got so hooked into that, because billions of dollars were going through there, people were making that shit.
But let's get back to their policy on drugs.
That was to make it illegal. It's to put people in jail. And to get rid of the black people and the hippies, which they consider black people.
So when people bring up, should we legalize marijuana because it's so strong nowadays? And all this, it's like, wait a sec, shouldn't you be investigating why it was made illegal in the first place and hold those people accountable in history? Like, come on, man! Like, we can't have these people pretend that they're like national heroes when they're fucking evil people.
Yeah.
That just purposely ruined a segment of society that didn't agree with their beliefs.
Yeah.
Ruined their lives.
Yeah. They were racist. They wanted to get rid of
and then people still say, oh yeah, black people, they just want free shit. It's like,
it's a dumb argument. It's not selling anymore. But I'll tell you one thing, the way Donald Trump has exposed the hypocrisy.
We're not allowed to talk about Trump today.
But it was exposed. He exposed it all, and now we as a people see exactly what the Republican Party, Nixon and all the boys are all about. And what they're all about is that white supremacy.
But it's amazing that it's taken the marijuana movement until now to even get a conversation going, to even get little small victories.
Well, thanks.
And if it wasn't for the people the sick people out there.
If it wasn't for that little baby on Sandra Gupta's show.
That was a big turning point. But I think even before that, when like the Dennis Perones went out there and they were saying like, we need this. We're wasting away.
I read where they're taking people's kids away from them for having a medical marijuana card and treating a medical
Where
illness.
is this, in Kansas or something like that?
Yeah. So it's still going on.
No, it's still going on, man.
Those people are...
Well, the Supreme Court threw out the case. Did you hear about that? So Nebraska and Kansas had a case saying that all this...
They're going to sue Colorado.
Yeah, you need to enforce the federal laws because, we're getting...
And the Supreme Court, they didn't throw it out. They won't hear it.
Yeah, they were having a huge problem with all this weed coming in here. And they're like, and all these resources we need. And it's such bullshit.
Yeah, well, it's huge. Yeah.
You know what the problem is? You know what they're scared of? Is all that fucking good weed is coming into their states and all these people are getting turned on and tuned in and tuned out. And they're just going, man, why aren't we smoking this stuff? And then what do they have there? They have an original thought.
That's right. They're having that strange thing that happens to them, an original thought. I forgot about that. Oh Lord! But you know what?
But Dad, it's crazy because this came out yesterday, and it's I don't know if it's
what came out yesterday.
The whole Nixon aid, admitting that, and it's I don't think people are really quite understanding how big a news this is.
Well, yeah, people are, but a lot of people don't know who Nixon is. A lot of people, ignorance is contagious.
Well, I read another story about how we have a school funding problem in this country, right? Like schools, especially in inner cities and poor neighborhoods, the schools are just like madhouses. They're way over capacity.
Yeah.
They don't pay the teachers anything. The teachers can't even teach. And they're just a complete failure, right?
Yeah.
Well, this journalist, he investigated. He thinks that it's the reason why they're forcefully doing this because they want to privatize it.
Yeah. Like
they want to show how big of a failure the government is at running schools.
Yeah.
So that they can privatize it.
Yeah. And then they can segregate again. Financially segregate and control. Like private schools.
No, they'll just steal the money because it's just like how they have like the food that you get in schools, right? Like in high schools here is just the most like
garbage.
Garbage. Unnutrition is just junk. It's literally will give you disease and make you obese.
Did you see
and
that?
then they show what happens in other countries, and it's like good wholesome food.
What's his name? Mike Moore. Anyway, that documentary showed it. They showed a menu to French kids of American food, and the French kids, oh yeah, I wouldn't eat that. Oh. Horrible. They and then they looked at what they were eating, and it's all fresh and
oh my God,
best nutrition.
Dad, it was like they went to a spa.
Yeah,
like they go to a spa school.
Yeah,
people don't really realize it. They think number one America is just number one because they've never been anywhere. They've never experienced anything.
They only believe. That's what they said. The guy in Cuba. They found one guy in Cuba that likes Cuba the way it is. And he's an American. And they asked him, and he said, what's the worst thing about America? He says, commercials.
Yeah.
Because you turn on TV in America, and all you get is commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's true. I watch, I'm watching the election and all that stuff, and most of the time, I'm watching the same fucking commercials over and over and over again to the point where I hate them so much.
Well, you know what the kids do nowadays, Dad? They tape their shows, and they fast forward through commercials.
Yeah. Yeah.
You got to do it, man.
I'm going to start doing that.
You got to do it.
But I'm old school. I don't mind sitting there and watching what's going on now.
Yeah.
Especially because I have my phone. I have the internet right next to me, and I can fact check anything I want.
You got the bigger phone. What do you think of that? Do you use it more with the?
I love my phone. I'm learning how to turn it on and off.
But are you able to read better on it?
Oh yeah,
than the last one.
I can read everything. I'm satisfied with everything.
Okay, all right, cool. Yeah, man. When I read this,
the truth about Nixon.
Yeah, I mean,
it's all coming out. You got to remember, Nixon was part of that McCarthy era where they put Jews in jail for writing anti-American or communist-inspired screenplays.
Yeah,
you talk about freedom of speech. And Nixon was part of it, and he was our president.
So he didn't appreciate a good movie back then.
No,
he thought they were subversive.
No, he was just trying to control, take power, for the Republican Party, like it's going on right now.
Right.
What they're trying to do right now, but their lies aren't working now because everybody fact checks.
Right.
And the thing, what brought Nixon and what brings everybody down?
What?
The karma. Whatever you reap, you will sow. In other words, whatever you plant, that's what you're going to have to live with.
Yeah.
And what happens, what you say about somebody else, it boomerangs. It comes back and bites you in the butt, and that's what's happening to the country right now.
Yeah.
And it's great. It's great. I mean, look at Canada. Canada now with Trudeau. Someone said, "Oh, I wish Trudeau could be our president." That was kind of funny.
Why?
Because
they think he's handsome?
No, because he's a progressive. He's ready to move into the 20th century. And forget about the Republicans. They're money hoarders. They're stockpiling money. Just like the old pharaohs did with their pyramids. They're stockpiling their stuff as if they can take it with them to the next life.
Wow.
And at the expense of the poor people and middle class people. Like Bernie said, it's the middle class that.
No, Bernie, you can't talk about politics.
You can't tell me what to talk about.
I can, man. I'm your producer, man. I'm trying to help you out.
Hey, produce this. Look. Produce this, motherfucker.
You can't touch your son that way. How dare you, man? Come on.
I'm sorry. Did I say something wrong? Come here, I'll choke your ass out. Talk to you, man. Like my dad used to say, I'll give you a backhand.
What did he say?
It was backhand.
To the moon, Ellis.
Yeah, pow, smash, boom, pow. To the moon. Because she always busted him. And then Archie Bunker and All in the Family.
What was his line?
Oh, Archie was prejudiced. He hated hippies. He hated everybody. Hated black people. Next thing you know, he's got a black family living next door to him. It was such a good show. Oh, man.
It was a good show.
Good era of television. Although I'm enjoying this season of television.
Your show's billions.
Billions,
right?
And Dancing with the Stars last night. I watched.
Oh that. Your girl PETA. So
PETA's got a deaf guy, and that deaf guy dances way better than Geraldo. Of course, this table dances better than Geraldo.
Really?
Oh, Geraldo Rivera. Oh,
terrible,
man.
Huh?
Oh, if I was Puerto Rican.
Why didn't he give you a call? Why didn't you give him a call and say, "Man, don't take this lightly. Go get some lessons. Figure it out."
I don't think Geraldo really.
So
he's in Cheech's camp pretty heavy.
So his Mexican car is going to get pulled. He can't even do any salsa or rumba or anything.
No,
like that?
He's Puerto Rican. He's not Mexican.
Puerto Rican.
Mexico would build a wall
Rico,
around
his
ass.
They do a good salsa in Puerto Rico, don't they?
Puerto Rican's one of the best dancing places
in the
people
world,
in the
right?
world. Yeah. Celia Cruz,
yes.
And what's the other one? Gloria Esteban.
Oh, Gloria Esteban.
Yeah, Esteban. Yeah, I mean, yeah. No, I mean, and I was in San Juan, Puerto Rico, and we went to a salsa club, and it was hot. You know what? People, especially people of color, people like of Spanish descent, you ask them if they can dance salsa, and for some reason they got to lie. They go, oh yeah, I dance. My mother taught me. One time I was in Vancouver. I was just learning how to dance salsa, and there's a whole bunch of us there. There's a whole gang of us salsa dancers. And this one salsa dancer girl, she met this guy on the bus, and he was Spanish, and he looked like a salsa dancer.
Right.
So much so that she talked him into coming to the club. Right then, she says, "Come on, we're dancing. Do you dance salsa, don't you?" And he says, "Yeah, of course I do." And so he gets on the floor, And this guy, he was almost as bad as Geraldo. He couldn't do shit, man. He couldn't do anything, and we're all just on pins and needles, waiting for this guy to show us what a great dancer he was, and it was embarrassing. In fact, the girl had to leave him in the middle of the floor and just walk off, and just left his ass in there, and he just got he got ostracized from.
He did, huh?
Yeah, he had to just sort of slink his way out of the place. He even had that Latino shirt on, the white shirt, the blousy shirt. Oh, he looked like he was going to be Ricky Ricardo.
He had the look, huh?
He had the look, but no moves, man. Oh. And there's a lot of Latinos in town here right now.
No, you see, that's fine because that's a nightclub. There's just a few people in the nightclub that you're going to be embarrassed about. But do you get it? Hey, celebrities out there that are going to go on these shows, millions and millions of people are watching it.
Or not watching it. Millions of people, I swear to God, they look at that.
No, Dad.
What else is on?
You watch the bad and the good.
I couldn't watch it. It was so sad. It was so sad. And Geraldo's a friend. No, it was kind of weird because it was the first night of Dancing with the Stars, And so I wanted to see my old friends, I'd seen, been with them for a season. So I know everybody on the show. And so I wanted to see it. And Mom says, I'm going to bed. So she went to bed.
No, say it how she did it. She said, I'm going to bed. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah.
And then you watched it, and then you went to bed, and then she was
hours later, she was awake. How was it? And of course, I said the wrong thing. I said, "Oh, PETA and her partner killed it."
Yeah.
And then it really.
She didn't want to hear that.
It really got chilly.
Well, it got chilly.
But I'll tell you, I had to tell you the truth, man. PETA's partner is a deaf male model. So he's really good looking. Yeah. He's got abs and he can dance.
Yeah, man.
He's deaf and he can dance.
Well, what's hard for Mom is that she's still jealous about PETA and all that, but she, more than anything right now, her goal in life is to get on Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, well, I'm going down there Monday, and I'm going to talk to the producer. Dad. No, I'm going to talk to the producer.
You're not going to get your wife on by threatening the producer.
No.
Listen, you can't threaten the producer. Don't try to punch him. Don't do that.
No.
And don't threaten with last time you had the idea of threatening a lawsuit. Don't do that either, man.
No, I was just joking. No, no. What I'm going to do? I know Rob Wade, and he owes me. He owes me, because I helped the show enormously. I mean, it was dying in a lot of ways, and then I brought it back. Because there's so many people that when I got on the show, I mean, they would have Tommy Chong watching parties.
Yeah.
That's true. They would get together. Hey, Dance with the Stars night, come on over, and they would sit there, and then they would all vote for me. And I know that happened because, for a while there, I thought it was fixed, but it's not fixed at all.
No,
because the best way to find out, the producers can find out, is how many eyeballs are watching, and they're watching the vote, and the voting lets everybody know who they're watching, who they like. So Rob Wade, and I saw him after that. At Derek and his sister's show, and he was a very nice, warm thing. Yeah. And even when I was trying to get on when I was auditioning to get on the show, I met with the whole crew, and there a lot of more fans.
No, for sure.
And Len's back.
Well, good luck trying to get your wife on Dance with the Stars, man.
Oh, I can do it. I can do it. I hope.
Well, good luck, man.
Anyway, I'll get to see PETA. I'm kidding. Okay, I think I better go before I really shoot myself in the butt.
Don't worry, I'll send a link to her.
Oh, don't shoot there. Okay, so that's it for today.
Yeah, man.
And listen, I want to tell all you guys, listen, Tommy Chong's coming up with a lot of new things, so stay tuned to our podcast and stay tuned to our website and our Instagram and all that stuff, and the Cheech and Chong thing. Keep watching it and let us know what you think, and definitely people that want to get into the testing the Chong products, contact me. Okay, Take care. Bye-bye.
The opinions expressed on this CannabisRadio.com program are those of the guests and hosts and do not necessarily reflect those of the staff and management of CannabisRadio.com. Any rebroadcast or redistribution without proper consent of CannabisRadio.com is prohibited.